Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Ahrtimmer patch notes, voiced over by myself, Ahrtimmer. Either that or a man who sounds very much like me, who knows. Anyway, League of Legends is now in version 1.0.0.138. This is, well, pressing ever forward. New champions all the freaking time. This is, well, it's a game, it's constantly evolving and shifting, and so I like to take a look at what's changing about it, and what I'm doing here is giving you my opinion. Ahrtimmer, I've played him once. I'm not going to say overpowered or underpowered. I'm not going to give any sort of real commentary about him because I feel that it's too early to call a new champion overpowered for about the first week, because you still need to learn how to combat him, and yeah, you can't really look at balance issues until you fully understand how the champion works and have played him yourself, and at the same time have played against him, and not just once of each time. You kind of want to know the character inside and out before you can call overpowered. However, very, very fun. I recommend to everyone to try out Ahrtimmer. He's a really, really cool champ, and he's definitely my sort of play. So I'll be playing a lot more of him, I think. Annie, her Pyromania now works like other charged passives. Activating a spell with a stun no longer builds a charge, but the number of charge required to energize is reduced to 4 from 5. That'll have 0 impact on the game because one of her spells is no longer providing a charge, that being the spell that had the stun attached. However, it will keep everything nice and consistent between other passives, and that's good news. Consistency is a really, really good thing. You can never complain about it. So it's more or less a bug fix. Akali, her base armor and health have been increased. Her early game is going to be much, well, not much, but a tiny bit less squishy. 3 armor, 20 health. It's a little bit more to play with early on, and so it will help her level 1, level 2 play, but after that it's going to have no massive impact. It's a minor tweak on her early game survivability, which is pretty good, because I did feel that Akali was a little bit too squishy. Maybe I just play a bit too reckless with her. I don't know. But good news. Gragas has new recommended items. Can't complain. It's always nice to know what to get. Now we're going to be skipping over all bug fixes because all bug fixes are good. I can't really say much about them, and I put a video out with bug fixes in, or didn't put it out but recorded it. It took 40 minutes. Not gonna do that. Jax, Relentless Assault passive, now stacks even if he misses or is dodged. Bad news for Teemo, Ahrtimmer, and other Jaxes fighting Jaxes, because you can't stop him getting more powerful by dodging or forcing him to miss his attacks. Good news if you're a Jax, because it means as soon as that blindness wears off, you'll be hitting harder than you would without. But I don't know, it's probably a good thing that they've brought it in, but it'll annoy a few players. However, it's very situational, so it's not going to have any massive impact on the game. I don't know, probably a good thing. Kayle, her Divine Blessing, her heal. A while back, Kayle's heal got nerfed into the ground, not so much because it wanted a nerf, but because they wanted to shift how Kayle works, less from a healing support, more to the hybrid DPS that you see now, which really fits her character a lot better. So they're buffing the movement speed, the heal amount, the speed duration, and increasing the mana cost. This is, all in all, it's a good thing. Particularly early game, Kayle, her heal felt pathetic. So, any buff in that area will help people. It makes being a healer Kayle a little bit more viable, and so you can support your lane partner early on a lot better. It might only sound like 15 extra health at level 1, but that's 15 extra health you can give every single time you heal. And my Kayle, particularly back before the Kayle changes, it was all about the healing, so it's it's a little bit more viable to do that now than it is to just get the Red Ball of Death and the Flaming Sword. Good news if you play Kale and wanted that heal to be a little bit more substantial. It was also something that could never really save a life. Now, if it's been done well, it very much will save lives. Janna has a nice shift. Her Howling Gale knocks targets up further in the air the longer it's been channeled. It starts at 80 and increases by 10 per second, where it used to be a constant 100. I'm assuming that's a distance unit they're using. If you can hit someone with a fully charged up tornado, it'll probably, I don't know how long it charges for, but from the sounds of it, knock up further than the set 100, which is really, really good news. Means you've got more time where they're effectively stunned. I don't think there are any abilities which can be used knocked up, even Cure Scurvy. Well, nothing's gonna pull you down out of the sky faster. Monsoon, the mana cost has been reduced and the knockback distance has also been reduced. The knockback was really, really annoying. Now, it's always going to be annoying, and it's not a massive decrease in knockback distance. 125 units isn't that far. At the same time, the mana cost reduction will make it more easy. It's easier to have the mana reserves at the end of a long fight to be able to heal your entire team and save those lives, and that's what the ability is all about. So that can't be anything but a good thing for Janna players. You're more likely to be able to save lives at all levels, but particularly at level 1, on level 6 to be more precise, because it is an ultimate, when you want to be using, well, you've got limited mana resources and you want to be doing damage, but at the same time you want to keep that mana around to use your ult when you need it. Leona, a hitbox increase on Zenith Blade to match the animation. Matching the animation, always a good thing. Sunlight has a new particle. This is very important because I didn't even know what Leona's passive was until I had played her 4 or 5 times, and I actually checked. And the way it works is that it basically works like Lux's passive, however it relies on an ally to trigger the damage proc. You want that particle to be really, really visible, and it honestly wasn't. I didn't even notice it was there. So that'll help. It'll help get your allies to target the right person if you're in high skill matches. I don't go into high skill matches because I'm a total scrub, but that's still good news. Bug fixes for Pix, Lulu, Lux, Malphite, Misfortune, Mordekaiser. Orianna, however, has a mana cost reduction on command attack because it's setting it at a flat mana cost as opposed to a ramping up mana cost. That'll mostly affect levels 6, 7, maybe even through to level 9 play, when you've got command attack ranked up but the game hasn't gone on long enough for you to build up a lot of mana. However, it won't have a significant effect if you don't build up command attack early, so it's only going to affect the very offensive Oriannas. Sejuani, Arctic Assault mana cost has been reduced, and Glacial Prison cooldown has been reduced. These are really good things. I've noticed a lot of Sejuani players running around with no mana, and so having any mana cost reduction is really good. And also, Glacial Prison, it's an AoE stun, certainly, but it's not as powerful as a lot of other AoE stun ultimates. Now, there's not all that many, but say Ahrtimmer, his ultimate is amazing. Let's be perfectly honest with that. And it's got, now I'm not certain on this, but I think about a cooldown of 150 seconds. Maybe a little bit longer. Glacial Prison isn't as powerful and yet had the same cooldown. That's probably not a good thing, so it's great that that's been reduced. to kind of balance the power to cooldown ratio, or utility in this case, because it's not about the damage, it's about the stun. Swain has an increase in his attack frame speed. That means more last hits for Swain, or easier last hits on any case. Ravenous Flock upkeep cost has also been reduced only at the higher levels. It increases by 1 mana per second every time you level it, instead of 2. Basically, in the end, both of those mean that Swain's going to have that little bit of extra mana to throw at you, because his passive gives him mana back when he kills an enemy, so last hits mean more mana, and Ravenous Flock costing less also means more mana. Teemo, he's got a move quick cooldown reduction. I am so happy for this. I've played Teemo a lot recently. There were a lot of times when I was trying to use move quick, and I felt like it should have been off a cooldown, but I still had 7 seconds or so to go. It didn't really feel on par with a lot of the other escape abilities that work similar, so this can't be anything but a good thing if you're a Teemo and you like running away. It's not going to change short distance running, but if you've got to run, say, from the enemy inner tower back to your base, it'll make a significant difference. Tristana will now attempt to immediately attack champions targeted by Explosive Shot or Buster Shot. Tristana has a double tap. A lot of other champions already did. Tristana's now joining the group. That tiny little bit of... well, it's 1 extra attack immediately after using an ability. That's good. There are issues associated with not having that, and yet when you have it there are no issues, so it's not going to make a huge difference, but it will make Tristana play that tiny bit easier to target the champion that you want with your autos. Bug fixes, Zillion. Time Warp mana cost has been reduced, and Chrono Shift mana cost has also been reduced. Like Janna, this means more saving lives, particularly early game. That's basically what it's all about. Zillion's gonna save more lives because he can have that ultimate ready, or Time Warp as the case may be, with a lower mana requirement. Items. We're seeing a nerf to Ahrtimmer's Impaler's health to damage conversion, it's a very specific item. Not many champions can make the best use of it, and so in the end it's stopping super high health tanks like Volibear and Shen getting massive amounts of damage out of it, which is a good thing because, particularly with Shen, he gets a lot of damage from health anyway. Duran's Blade health and Duran's Ring health have been reduced to 80. This makes me super happy because I hate the Duran's items with somewhat of a passion. But in the end it's 20 health. It'll make those items seem that little bit less of the must-have early item, which is, well, that's why I hate them, because you can get so much health just from stacking Duran's items, and I sit there thinking, you're gonna sell those later, that's money wasted. If you get less of that really good benefit for having them, well, it's really gonna help incentivize people to get items that they can build into things, and be less into the Duran stacking, because Duran stacking it's nice early game, but it very rapidly becomes inefficient. The Hex Drinker passive shield duration has been increased to 5 seconds from 3. Basically, they brought the shield up to be more similar to the Maw of Malmortius, and made Hex Drinker that bit more of a useful item. Before Maw of Malmortius was released, I only ever saw Hex Drinkers if people were up against a Karthus, so it'll make it that tiny bit more powerful. The Wit's End combined cost has been increased by 150 gold. Take a little bit longer to get your Wit's End, but it's only 5, 10 minion kills. So it won't be a huge difference, you gotta get those 10 extra minion kills to get a wit's end. Last Whisper will now show up as a pickaxe upgrade in the item shop. The item shop therefore becomes easier to navigate. That's always good. Champion XP and gold rewards. You now get more stuff for killing people who are massively ahead of you. Killing people ahead of you is always rewarding. Making it more rewarding can only be a good thing because it makes the game... It's much more likely to see a really good comeback. And comebacks are what makes the game interesting and keep people playing the game instead of surrendering at the 20-minute mark if it looks like they're losing. The opportunity for a comeback always exists, and this makes it even more... It makes it easier. I mean, you've still got to get that kill, but if you get that kill, you get more experience now, because experience is being split differently. You also get more gold and more experience. More experience twice, actually, because the experience is being split differently if you've got a team bringing them down. Health and mana regen rates are now displayed on your HP bars. That's good. UI elements are nice, and they're not gonna massively impact anyone's play. It just means you can see how quickly you're healing without having to check your character stats. Minion health bar toggle is now bound to Control L instead of just L. That means I'm going to hear so much less rage about why aren't there health bars on my screen anymore. It's amazing how many people accidentally hit L. It really is, and now it's not going to affect them. Monster regeneration signals now restore up to 40 mana from 30. It's good for early game jungle. It's good for any jungle really, because more mana is more mana. The only people it won't affect are people who don't have mana. Floating status text. I'll go into that along with the animated combat text. I played the game shortly after the patch came out. I took a look at the damage text. It is really, really nicely done. It's a lot more visible, and I don't know, something about it just feels really nice. It makes the game feel a little bit more polished, a little bit more neat, and a lot prettier. It's nice to see those little bouncy damage bars and exclamation marks next to any damage that's a crit, and the larger the number, so comparing 50 to 100, 100 damage will have a larger font, I believe. I'm not certain on that, but it looked like it did, and that's nice. It means if you get hit for a massive amount of damage, you'll know about it immediately, because there'll be giant text everywhere. Legacy damage can be enabled via the options menu. Don't know what that is yet. I'm looking into legacy damage and finding out what that means. The announcement system, again, I've taken a look at this. It's nice. With all the UI changes and they've basically changed a lot of the text of the game. It makes it easier to know what's going on, all in all, and that's always great news. PvP.net is going to grab some more features. You can read about them yourself, because I'm running out of time here. The runes are being changed. Again, not really my area of expertise. I don't have all that many runes. I've got enough for 5 rune pages or so, and most of my runes are used twice. So I don't know. I'm not the best person to discuss this, but having listened to the patch preview that Riot themselves put out, that's great. I think I saw where they were coming from. I don't remember, but I remember agreeing with it at the time, so good. And lastly, co-op VAI. We've got a Scion bot and a Vladimir bot. We have target acquisition and logic improvements for the bots. So less tower diving, and they'll even buy elixirs. They now know how to drink as opposed to put on clothes. In addition to put on clothes, even. And they're never gonna, well, they're not going to anymore, path toward your base. It's kind of funny to watch Taric try and beat up your inhibitor when all of your towers in that lane are still standing. but it's probably best that the bots don't do that, because it just meant free kills for some people, or bots dying when they really didn't need to, and let's be honest, it was a little bit stupid. So anyway, that's it from me for the day. I hope you've enjoyed the Ahrtimmer patch notes. I hope I've given you some insights based on my 2 years of lolling experience. If not, who really cares? This is more for my benefit than it is for yours, because it makes me read the patch notes. Thank you, and I will see you on the fields of justice. Good night.